Hi, Gemini. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for January of 2021. For you, Gemini, this month's themes are going to have you asking the really big questions about life, the universe, and everything, maybe making you want to expand your mind or possibly travel even. Now, if this brings you some pretty big questions, you can find the answers in a natal and transit reading with Julia or myself, and you'll find a link for that in the YouTube description below. 2021 has an entirely different character from 2020, which is great news because 2020 pretty much sucked. That was because Jupiter and Saturn were in Capricorn and now they've moved into Aquarius. So things feel a lot more light and bright. We've talked about that already and how it affects you in your December horoscope. So if you haven't watched that, I recommend that you do. You can find it on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, in the December 2020 horoscopes playlist. And you'll notice that we've already started building a playlist for 2021 with videos there where you can find out more about the year as it unfolds. Hey, Julia, I think that you have got some news for the Geminis of the world about Mercury, Venus, and Mars.
You thought right, Jamie. Hey there, Gemini. So Mars, the beginning of the month, is still in your 11th house of friends, where it's been for a number of months now because it's done a whole retrograde cycle in this house. So you've been dealing with problems in your friendship circles or any groups that you're a part of during this time. This is also the house of long-term goals. So you may have faced some frustrations in some of your long-term dreams as well. Now on January 6th, Mars is going to enter your 12th house of seclusion, where it's going to stay for the rest of the month. And when Mars is in the 12th house, we tend to do our best work when we're on our own. We're kind of less of a team player. So if you have any professional work that you can sort of withdraw and do on your own instead of in a group, that would probably be best. And it can be kind of hard to get credit for the work you do too during this cycle. Now, Mercury, the planet of communication and mentation, begins the month in your 8th house of other people's money, where for the first week of January, you're spending a lot of time, perhaps thinking about the money that you share with the people closest to you in your life, or institutions like banks or the government, such as dealing with like loans or taxes and mortgages. Then Mercury is going to move into your 9th house of higher mind on January 8th, and you're going to be in a much more philosophical mood, maybe thinking about making some travel plans. And if you're in school or just in general, this is a wonderful transit for learning something new. Now, Mercury will be going retrograde at the very tail end of January on January 30th. But since it's doing its whole retrograde cycle in February, Jamie and I will do a video next month talking about how this could affect you specifically. So you should check that out. Now, Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, begins the month in your 7th house of partnership. So the first week of January is going to be a wonderful time in your relationship where you'll feel more harmony with a partner. And it's also a good week to go out there and date and meet somebody new. Then Venus is going to move into the 8th house on January 8th. And the 8th house, it's the house of other people's money. So it could be, if you're in a relationship, that your partner gets a little luck in his money or her money, maybe through loans or through institutions, or maybe increase their salary somehow. And the 8th house has a lot to do with intimacy. So this could be a time where you really meld so much more deeply with a partner. Maybe a crisis brings you two together, for example.
That sounds nice. Now we have on January 19th, the beginning of Aquarius season. And that happens when the sun moves into Aquarius, which it does right here, joining a pile of planets in Aquarius, which is your 9th house. And as Julia said, this is the house of the higher mind, travel. This is the house of the seeker. It has to do with exploration, thinking the bigger thoughts of life. What does it all mean? Why am I here? What is my greater purpose? What do I aspire to? So you might find yourself asking those really big questions. And in fact, while the sun is kicking this off by moving into Aquarius season, Saturn and Jupiter are going to be in this house for the rest of the year. And Saturn will be testing you and challenging you in this area, while Jupiter helps you to expand and grow in this area, which is his favorite place to be in the whole chart. Earlier in the month, on January 12, we have got the first moon of the month, which is a new moon right here in Capricorn, and that's your 8th house of intimacy and sharing, as Julia was talking about. Now, Venus has moved in there, and so it's definitely a nicer place to be, and you may find that your intimate connections are, improved and more of a feel-good situation. But I also want to let you know that Pluto's been traveling through this house for more than a decade. And as a sort of bubbling away on the back burner, there has been this long-term deep transformation going on for you in this area, which might mean that, maybe sometime in the last decade, you went into rehab. Maybe you've been really cleaning up your act in some way. Maybe you've been taking responsibility for bitterness and resentment that had built up over time and areas of life where you had formerly viewed yourself as a victim. And if so, I just want to let you know that process will be coming to an end soon, and blessed be. And this new moon is probably going to bring you a tremendous feeling of refreshment, rebirth, and newness around that. So then on January 28th, we have got a full moon happening in Leo, and that's in your 3rd house, which is a house of communication. It's a house of discovering your voice and thinking and learning as well. And that moon opposes the sun in that Aquarius pile there. But really the main nature of this moon is a fiery one because it's involved in a grand trine in fire with Juno and Chiron. And so we're calling this moon Be Recognized for Your Generosity. And because it involves your 3rd house, this is probably going to be tied into things like communication and discovering your voice and speaking things out loud. So I would say that, any praise that you put out there towards others during this moon is going to come back to you multiplied. So it's a great time for compliments given and received. Now, this winter is a wonderful time to start new projects. It's possibly the best time all year to start new projects. And there are 2 reasons for that. The first one is the pandemic hot degree that just was this dark, thunder cloud over us all of 2020 has expired. Woohoo! And then also the other reason is that there are no outer planets retrograde at this time. You can look and see that in this third of the wheel, all of the outer planets are represented and none of them are retrograde. So that means that you can begin a new project and capture this good energy for the lifespan of the project. So what I'm saying to you is this winter, January and February, are a really good time for breaking ground on a construction project, buying something big like a car, a home, or a property, or beginning a new business by accepting that first dollar in exchange for a product or a service that you do. Now, there is an exception to this, which is the Mercury retrograde period. Definitely do not begin something big while Mercury is retrograde, which is going to be happening from January 30th to February 20th. So for that 3-week period, don't start something new. But in the times surrounding that, best time all year to do it. So that's all that we have for you today. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe and like and share widely. And you can find more great horoscopes like this one on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, along with the news of the month aggregated into playlists. And you can also find horoscopes on our website, pandoraastrology.com, along with the monthly forecast. And there you could get a reading or even join a class. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.